as you can see, I have a special guest tonight, and I'm so excited. This is my wonderful, beautiful, or handsome, I should say. Right. This is my wonderful husband, Eric. So say hi to the good people.
Hello, how you doing? What's going on?
So he's a little nervous, so we got to get him comfortable and let him know that he has nothing to be scared of. But I figured, hi Nika 16, I figured that I would have him on here because, you know, a lot of times as we talk about relationships and love relationships, I've been happily married for 7 years, but it's good to have a female perspective, but it's also great to have a male perspective. And even though, you know, sometimes a girl could say one thing and a guy could say the same thing, and because it comes from the man, it's like the Bible, you know, but that's okay because whatever, hey Shanika, thanks for joining. So that's why I decided to have him come on tonight. So I'm really, really excited. Now, you probably saw the hashtag Life and Love Real Talk. So I'm kind of going through some rebranding. So you'll start to see some new things branded slightly differently. But tonight we're going to talk about, are you dating or are you courting? And even if you're already married, it's actually still relevant because we're going to talk about some things that we do even as a couple, right, that we still do as a married couple and how we still date even though we've been married for 7 years now. Because even though when you get married, like the romance and the dating and all that stuff and the courtship doesn't stop. So one of the things I wanted to ask my wonderful, handsome husband tonight was, babe, what do you think courting means? Like when you hear the word courting, what do you think courting means?
Courting means that you are going after somebody, pursuing them seriously. You want to be in a relationship with them. It kind of leads to an engagement, to marriage. There is a difference between dating and courting.
Oh, okay. So would you all agree that there's a difference between dating and courting? And just to let you know, so I had a revelation earlier because we literally was just having this discussion like right before I came on. And I was like, well, babe, like dating and courting is kind of the same thing. And he was like, no, it's not. So please share your knowledge with the people. Let them know what is actually the difference between dating and courting? Because I kind of thought, I didn't really think it was the exact same, but I just felt like, okay, maybe that they go together. And so we agreed that dating can lead to courtship and courtship can lead to marriage. But, you know, the whole thought and premise from it came from the fact because I wrote this piece about the rebirth of courtship and what does it mean, you know, to court a woman. And because I was talking to a lot of my girlfriends, and even though I'm happily married, a lot of my girlfriends, they were single, and I would ask them like, when's the last time you've been on a date, or when's the last time somebody took you out? And they could not remember for the life of them when that happened. So I was like, okay, like what's going on? Like, why aren't men dating? Why aren't they courting our women? So that's the background, and that's where it came from. So if you want to check out the article, feel free to check it out on my website, on my blog, whitenoise.com, Noyze. Samantha says she thought she was the only one. Exactly, right? You can also check out the article on xonicole.com. So shout out to the XO tribe. So Eric, please enlighten us on, I know y'all think this is funny, but I'm serious. Like, please enlighten everyone on what you think, what's the differences between dating and courting, because I kind of thought it was the same thing, but...
Well, first of all, I'm nowhere near expert. What I learned from dating versus courting is from my parents, from my grandparents. Pretty much courting is when you seriously pursuing somebody. When you're the man, you're pursuing the woman. You're doing everything you can because that person's a challenge. You want to show her, you know, I want to be your mate. I want to be your husband. I want to be the man you come home to every day. Dating, people date each and every day. You can go on a dates or date numerous people, but you only court one person.
Oh, did y'all hear that? So we can date multiple people, but courting is really designed for, let's just say, like just one person that you're like really serious and that you maybe want to take it to the next level. That makes sense. Okay. So what was it about, like when you decided how do you know if you want to like court someone versus like date someone?
As a man, I can't explain it. It's a feeling of, you know, I'm in love, and I've never felt this before, and you just really want to pursue that person. That person's a challenge. It's something to the male ego and the heart. Like, I want to be with her. I want her to be the only person in my life.
Interesting. So you don't think that the stuff you did with me when you were courting me was that different from what you used to do with your exes? Or
Can I be real?
You can be real. This is real talk. This is life and love, real talk, right, y'all?
And me and you getting together, it was simply, you know, a different feeling, a different course of action. You know, I was a point in my life where I wanted to be serious. I wanted to settle down. So yeah, it was totally different. Totally different. I didn't take people out on dates all the time, or I didn't even try to take people out on dates. For you, I want to do anything to make you happy.
Okay, so like opening up car doors, and that's the thing, ladies. Like a lot of times we hear stuff about like, you know, well, you're worth the wait, and you are, because you know I waited before I got married. You know, after we got together, whatnot. But I also say you're worth the date. Like you're worth being taken out on a date, and like sometimes though we make it so easy for the guys that they feel like, well, I don't have to do this. I don't have to take her out on a date because you know she makes it so easy for me. And it's like, but don't make it so easy for them. Like you are worth that date. You are worth the courtship, because especially if it's somebody that you think you could potentially have a future with, but obviously not for just some random guy and somebody that you know is dating other types of people and just going around the city doing God knows what. But you know, knowing that you're worth the wait and knowing that you're worth the date, you know, that's really important, because you know when you make it too easy, it's like it's not a challenge, right, Eric? Like I know you talked before about how, you know, men want a challenge, and when it comes down to that one that you want to settle down with, men want to know, like, okay, will she make me work for this, or will this just be easy? Will this just be like everything else, you know, that I tried? So, you know, that's really important, and I'm glad you have enlightened us on the difference, you know. And I really found out that I'm not the only one that doesn't know what it is. Like courting, obviously, is something that guys just don't know what it is anymore, and they don't know what that looks like. You know, even I obviously was educated on the fact that it's different. It's not exactly how I envisioned it initially. I just kind of intertwined them, even though I knew what it was, but I was kind of like overlapping them. But now we kind of know. So some tips on dating, like what were some of the things that you did, Eric, like when we first started dating, and like what were some of the things that like you did and maybe that other guys out here could do for their ladies, or that women could do, you know, or could require of their man to do for them?
Plan dates. Definitely set up time to be with you, call, kind of engage you, kind of see what your feelings are, where you want to go. I always want to do something for you, make you smile. That was my biggest thing. Open doors for you, plan trips, take you out on dates, go out to eat. It was something I couldn't explain. It's something I wanted to do. I wanted to pursue you. So.
That's awesome. And, you know, some people, when I wrote that article, people were like, well, you know, I don't want to be wine and dining every girl and every guy that comes around or whatever. They shouldn't have to pay for all of this. And that's true and all. But at the same time, like, everything doesn't have to be expensive when you're courting someone or when you're taking them out on a date. Like, it doesn't have to be extremely expensive. You can be very creative, and you don't have to spend tons of money. Even Eric and I, like, when we first started dating, of course, a little few months in, McDonald's, yeah. Not maybe quite McDonald's, but you know, I was thinking more like a picnic in the park, because that's a little less expensive than like a meal at, you know, Cut Steakhouse or something. But, you know, just being creative with those types of things, like not necessarily McDonald's per se, you know, Burger King. See, you know, he's got jokes. But just going, you know, doing things that are different that may not require tons of money, but just making that effort. A cookout, that's a great example. Like, what better way than to take your, you know, significant other or the person that you're really interested in to a cookout, meet your friends and family, maybe not on the first date, because that could be a little intimidating, but a cookout is definitely, you know, a great example. And, you know, going to the park, walks, what else?
Going to park, walks, going to the movies, little simple things.
Yes, the movies. And if you want a discount on the movies, exercising. They say the couple that works together, you know, Studio Movie Grill, that's a good one. Hey, all right, Falcon 85 and J Coffee, what's up? So like going to work out, to the movies, and if you want to get the discount, then you get that, you know, you go during the daytime if you have to. But also, you know, don't just be trying to save that dollar. Like, actually try to put in an effort. Like, I feel like that's what's most important about courtship. When you say, like, definitely putting in an effort and whatnot.
And again, you always hear women, but pretty much you allow us to do what we want us to do to you. I mean, like, pretty much if you're going to let him just do Netflix and chill, you allow that. So at the end of the day, you have to kind of, put your standards out there. You want to go out, you want to go do different things, concerts, dates in the park, cookouts, family gatherings, going to church.
Go to church, yes. Hey, go to church. Got me a godly man. Thank you, Jesus.
I didn't do all that if I was with you, though.
Okay, so that's true. That's real talk. But we came, around, amen, with the running mans and the hands up. Yes, came around. But that's a good point. Go to church. Maybe that's not the first date because they could be a little heavy, but being able to go and worship together, that's absolutely important. But what the whole point is that, even though courting seems old school, hey, J. Crew is my favorite. That's my girl, Renita. Courting, it's old school, but it's still relevant in the 21st century. Like we talked about earlier, it's about courting that person that you want to spend the rest of your life with or could potentially spend the rest of your life with. Like my husband told y'all, like he wasn't doing the same stuff. Everything that he did with me, he didn't do that with every single girl. So he didn't have to worry about, courting and paying all that money for concerts or trips or whatever with every single girl that he dated. But when he knew that he wanted to be with me, that's when he decided to change it up. And for me, I know that I too, as a woman, I didn't require that prior to meeting Eric. I just kind of required the bare minimum. So it was pretty much like, if he took me to the movies or if we went to his house and we chilled. Of course, back then, I'm an 80s baby. So back then we didn't have Netflix and chill like in my college days or whatever. But I was okay with renting a movie from Blockbuster and chilling out versus like saying, well, no, like I deserve better. I'm worth the date. Like I'm worth the time and the effort. And, he jokes all the time. What was the line that I told you, boo? And you was like,
you told me to get my life together.
And that was before Tamar said, get your life. I was like, I need you to get your life together because I knew he said he wanted to be with me. Yeah. And I was like, well, okay, that's cool and all. But I was like, I need you to prove it to me. I don't need you. Words weren't enough anymore because in the past, words used to be enough for me. Words the pillow talk and the, babe, I love you. You my boo. We ride or die. Like that used to get me, but I reached a point in my life where I had grown and I was mature enough and I loved myself enough to say, no, I can't just allow the sweet talk. Like I have to be secure in what he's saying. So his words and his actions matched up with everything that he was telling me. So if he said that he cared about me, then he proved it in his actions. If he said he wanted to court me and if he wanted to date me, if he wanted to be with me, then he made that happen. I remember when we first started dating, we were actually long distance, like 9 hours away. And he told me, he was like, I'm gonna make an effort. And I was like, yeah, okay, like whatever. He's gonna date me in the ATL, shawty. Yes. And so I was in the ATL. Thank you, sis, princess. And he was up in Ohio. And I was like, this is not gonna work. And I just was convinced. But he was like, babe, trust me, like I'm going to make an effort. And I kid you not, he came down every single month, sometimes multiple times a month, and he came to see me. Like I didn't believe it, but I was like, okay, we'll see. And he actually did it. And that's what courtship is about. It's about going to the next level, taking that extra step and going to the next level with someone and being willing to put forth that effort. And I just want us as females, especially for my single sisters, like I want you all to like expect more and to want more, because if you expect less or you expect the bare minimum, you're going to get Burger King, you're going to get McDonald's, but we trying to upgrade, okay? We're trying to get to that next level. We trying to, for those who are interested in getting married, for those who want to stay single, then cool, stay single, keep dating. But for those who aspire to marriage and those other things, sometimes we have to set our standards higher and we can't lower them just to get something for the temporary pleasure. But even when you're married, for my married couples out there, the same is true. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah, what do you think are some things that we do in our marriage to like help keep it, to keep courting? What do you do to like keep courting me, I guess? Even though you already have me. Why do you think it's important?
Small gifts. I mean, dating, date nights, bringing home chocolates, flowers, simple things like that, Just trying to keep everything lively, romance, coming home, having a drawn bath for you, things of that nature. So,
Exactly. Somebody said Applebee's 2 for $20. Yes. Listen, honey, me and Eric love if it ain't Applebee's or Chili's and we balling on a budget, we will gladly go to Applebee's 2 for $20. Like that's perfect for married couples. Sometimes even if you got to share a meal, that's perfect because they give you so much anyway. But when you're married, it's just as important. Like, even though he courted me while we were dating, it's important for the man to keep that romance going, and it's important for ladies to also, you know, keep that sexiness going. And somebody said knowing your mate's love language is important. Amen to that. Oh, you laughing, huh? It is so important. And Eric, why would you think it's important, like, to know the love language?
Prior communication.
Absolutely. Especially because we realize we have two different love languages, which before we didn't realize it. And my love language is gift giving. And so, like, if I got a gift that I didn't feel was, like, you know, representative of what I deserved or what I wanted, I would, like, go off and I would be mad, or I would even cry, like, act like a baby. And Eric just wouldn't understand it. And then when we read the book, we were like, somebody said amen to gift giving. So he wouldn't understand why I would get so emotional. And I'm like, how you just gonna give me this? And I gave you, like, you know, 10,000 things. But I realized that we have two totally different love languages. So what that did was, I mean, maybe it didn't help me stop from crying sometimes, but what it helped was that he was more sensitive to my needs and I was more sensitive to him. And so then I wouldn't expect, I'm like, okay, this isn't Eric's love language. So if I give him a watch or something, Shonda, don't expect him to just go crazy and ballistic like you do. Like, he's a man, he's gonna be on his chill mode. He ain't gonna go, like, that's not how he communicates his love. So that helped us, I think, you know, to kind of figure that out and to work through that. So yes, thank you for sharing that, Miss Premier Posh. That's Princess. If you need event planning in Atlanta, check out Premier Posh. She is the real deal. So yeah, so that's pretty much. Any other things you want to say about courtship, or any advice for my lovely ladies out there, or my, you know, yeah, make sure you give me your hearts. I see y'all's hearts popping up. Show me some love. Any other courtship tips or advice for the fellas?
Well, for the ladies, I'll be honest, and don't take this the wrong way. And fellas probably hate me, but don't make it too easy for a guy. I mean, at the end of the day, men like to chase. We like to prey on people. I hate to say that, but we chase. I mean,
they like the challenge.
The challenge, yeah. You know, nobody likes something that's easy to get. If you work hard for it, it's difficult. You kind of appreciate that a lot more than anything else. So that's the biggest thing that I can say for women. Guys, just be yourself, be honest, and at the end of the day, I don't care who you are. When you're in love with somebody, all that trying to be hard, whatever, that goes out the window. You have to be yourself, be open, and be caring and sensitive to your wife. So.
Oh, he's so sweet. That's my boo. And I didn't tell him that. I just told him, I was like, hey, be real. Like, because y'all know how we do on Periscope. We keep it real. So, you know, he wasn't coached or anything. It's just real talk. Like I said, we had a whole discussion prior to this. And I'm like, really? So dating is, like, completely different from courtship? He's like, yeah. So he had to really school me on that. So I had learned, like, very quickly that it is, like, it's all about going to that next level. So it's about putting in effort. So fellas, I need y'all to keep putting in that effort, whether you're single and you're aspiring to get married, or whether you're married, keep the passion going, keep the romance going. Ladies, you know, we got to keep it sexy. We have to keep our standards up, and we have to require that of them. You know, not like, okay, you need to be doing this for me, but more so of just requiring it for ourselves because we're worth that. Like I said earlier, that we say all the time, you're worth the wait. Well, guess what? You're worth the date as well. So you're worth it. You are beautiful, and if you're really, especially wifey material, and if you are wanting to eventually get married, then you should understand that you're worth all of that and more, and that the guy should put effort into it. Just plain and simple. Call me old school, whatever, but that's just the real deal. So yeah, what about young men dating? Very good question. Young men as in how young? Like young, like teenage young like, how old are you thinking? Somebody just asked me a question, so I want to answer your question for you. If we're talking like young teenager, I'm like, I don't know about you, Eric, but I just feel like it's too young. 20s, okay, so 20s can be a little tricky. I don't really, again, our word isn't the Bible. Okay, so Eric's laughing. I'm going to let him go first because he obviously has something he really wants the people to hear. He got something to say. So what would you say, boo, as far as 20s?
20s.
For young, we're talking young men.
If you're talking 20s, every man is different. I know in my 20s, I was just dating. It wasn't nothing serious. I was looking for anything serious. I didn't find Shonda until I was in my late 20s. So early 20s, I honestly have to say it's just about dating, getting to know different people, and then at some point you realize, you know what, I know the type of woman I want. Hopefully that person is mature and gets to the point he wants to settle down. So it depends on the man. Every man's different.
It really does. And I'm so glad you said that, boo, because like, you know, I hear people say, well, you should wait till you're this age, you should wait till that age. And I know what I went through, like as a woman, you know, in my early 20s, I had my fun, I did my thing and stuff. But, you know, there were some things I was like, oh my gosh, that was a waste of time. Like, why did I do that? But, you know, like he said, it really depends on the man. So it really depends on you, depends on, because I've met mature men in their 20s who were ready to settle down. So that's not impossible. It's not like you have to go by everyone's timeline. Like if you feel like you've lived your life and you feel like you're ready to settle down, then cool. If not, like my hubby said, it's just really up to you. Like, depends on your maturity level. Some people thought we were still kind of young when we got married. And I was like, what? Like we were in our late 20s, you know? So for some people, they thought that was too young. And for other people, they're like, no, that's about right. You know, some people think if you're 40, you just still prime and you should still just be out there dating, up in the club, you know, getting crunk, turn up. But, you know, to each its own. But like he said, it really just depends on where you are as far as the stage of manhood and what you really want, you know. But I will say, be honest. So if you're in your 20s and you know you're not ready for that extra commitment, try to make sure you are honest about it and let the girls know. Don't lead these girls on and make them think like you want to be in a relationship and you're really not. So that's all I could say about that. But I think my husband summed that up really perfectly. Any other questions about courtship and dating or just relationship questions in general? Y'all let me know. Shout out if y'all enjoyed like having my husband on tonight. Like send me a little note or something. Somebody said marriage, no. And that's okay because everyone has their own opinion. But yeah, send me a little message, shout me out or something and let me know. Send a little IM to let me know if you all enjoyed having Eric on. Obviously, I see all the hearts coming, so that means that you guys enjoyed him, so I really appreciate it. But if we don't have any more questions, you can always catch me. Oh, somebody said, yes, it's always great to have a male perspective. Somebody would say that courting holds a little more value than dating. First time on, love you, girl. Hey, Simply Ebony. Well, thank you for joining. She said it's her first time, so welcome, Ebony, to Periscope. But so the question was, would you think that courting adds more value to the relationship?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, if you're courting somebody, that kind of precedes being engaged. You thinking that's the person you want to marry. You know, that's somebody different at a different level in your relationship. It's not just being out dating here and there. You kind of want to spend the majority of your time with that person. So it holds a different level.
I like it. Yes. Well, I know it definitely held more value for me because I felt valued. I felt like, oh, this man is like really into me. Even when I wasn't trying to like be in a relationship, I was like, he is really feeling me. Like he really wants to be with me. And I valued him and valued myself even more, even though, you know, I had to have that self-love before, but absolutely, it definitely adds value. Thank you for that, Black Coffee, Jay Coffee, Jason Coffee. Shout out to all my Lexington, Kentucky folk on here deep. Well, guys, it's almost 9 o'clock and we actually went a little longer than I expected because you guys were so interactive. I love when you all ask questions and when you talk back and everything. So I will be here every week, of course, same bat time, same bat channel. If you missed some of my earlier Periscopes, obviously, they only keep the broadcast for 24 hours, but you can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at Shonda, Shonda B. White, so Shonda B. White, and I'm also on YouTube, so my Periscope from today, as well as the other weeks, are uploaded to my YouTube channel, so you can search in YouTube for Shonda Brown White or Shonda White, or you can actually search for like the title of the Periscope. So I really appreciate you guys for being on. Thank you to my hubby. Whoop whoop! Shout out to my hubby. Yay! I'm so excited. So maybe he was so nervous, but didn't he do a good job? He was off the chain. So maybe he'll join us maybe in the future, because I know, like I said in the beginning, you ladies love the male perspective. Even though we might say the same thing, you know, y'all love to hear from the males. So I get it. So thank you all so much. Sending love and kisses to everyone. Happy Monday. Happy Black History. And get ready for Valentine's Day because it's coming up. So don't wait till the last minute. But thanks, everybody. Have a good night. Bye.